Heard my voice and I come picked her up in my Rolls Royce, yeah, 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 ooh, yeah, and my Mercedes, you know we riding on dubs, and then I gotta come up with a new name because I'm not using Antman anymore. Oh
Why
my,
would that be? Why would that be?
why I'm not using my name no more? Ah, so somebody has tainted the name Ant-Man. You can see I changed it on my thing too. I know it's no longer Ant-Man. Skill's favorite son. So I come up with something a little more catchy. So,
Yeah. So today we're about to talk about Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania.
which
Yeah.
is
Let's start with this is the third installment of the Ant-Man franchise, and in this particular movie, the cast of Scott Lang, Hope Van Dyne, Hank Pym, Jennifer Dime, they explore the quantum world where they interact with a bunch of strange creatures, embark on a little mini adventure.
Star
Then it
Wars.
goes beyond the limits of what they thought was possible, and a couple of future villains are introduced, or hopefully future villains are introduced, along with Scott trying to reconnect after being without his daughter for the blip and everything. So, yeah, he's tries. Scott is trying to reconnect with his daughter. So yeah, that's a gist of the movie Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and we're about to do a spoiler review.
Those are the
So,
best reviews, ain't they? Spoiler reviews are happy
uh,
to be the best. Why? Because we can get in detail about how something is really good, really bad, in the middle, should have never been made in the first place, was a waste of your time, stuff like that. Which one will Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania fight? We gotta stay tuned to find out. We got a commercial break. I'm practicing when we get sponsored because that's going to be
okay,
fire.
I was about to say, wait a minute, I'm
Now,
gonna
I,
go
I,
with the
we,
flow. I expect my check in the mail soon, but okay, that's all I can say to that one. Wait
uh,
a minute.
I wish, man,
Let
I
me
wish
find
I
out
would.
you out here recruiting without me and stuff. This man busy.
Hey,
Oh man.
nah, not anymore.
Yeah. Shit. Well, let's get to it then.
All right. Okay, boom, Daniel. Here we go. First of all, what was your overall thoughts? I got the things right here. First, overall thoughts about the movie.
Overall thoughts about the movie
Oh, wait, hold
was
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. My fault. I'm trying something new. You ready for this one? Going into the movie, what was your hype level and what did you expect to see?
okay. So my hype level going. That's a good question. My hype level going into the movie was moderate.
Mm-hmm.
Moderate. I was already based off the previous Ant Man movies. There wasn't a strong hypeness to this one. It wasn't a. I didn't see that much of a necessary need to watch this movie, and so it was moderate. What was the other question?
Uh, and what did you expect to see in the movie?
Oh, I expected goofiness and comedy, and more or less, I expected the same as what they gave me in the first two. So expectations were pretty low.
Sheesh, that's sad. All right, so for me, first of all, my hype level it was it was real low until like they start building it up. So like when I'm at work, right, and I listen to podcasts, and then the podcast they like have commercials for something else. So like the last 2 days, like Wednesday and Thursday, they was like, oh yeah, make sure you go see Ant-Man Quantumanium. It's a must see. They were like, though, I'm like, okay, it's gotta be happening. And I don't really look at the reviews, like when the embargo lifts, I don't look at those reviews. So I'm like, okay, it didn't get high. It's like, oh, okay, maybe there's something I'm not seeing. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, and then Marvel has this thing now where the titles of their movies are phenomenal. Like they'll blow your mind. Like uh Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Mania. You're like, it's gonna see a lot of great stuff. And both times you walk out, yeah, just And I'm like, and that's what it is. Like when you go, do you remember high school when you were in English class and you had this thing? It was like a stupid thing. They tell you like, read the title of a book, and then you had to write down like a paragraph or so of what you think the book was going to be about just from the title. I don't know if you remember that because you know you've been in high school for a long time, but I loved English, so I remember all of that stuff. And they had a teacher. He hated that subject. He hated that part of the curriculum. So what he did was he had a movie like Godzilla stomps out something. And they asked you what it was. Literally, the entire movie was like 5 seconds of Godzilla stomping out somebody, and that was the end of the movie. Just so he could say he fulfilled the criteria. But that's neither here nor there. When I was so when I go back and I start like reading these titles, I think, oh man, I think this is going to happen. This is going to happen. They ain't quantum. They're going to get in and out of the quantum world. Stuff like it's going to pop off. And then I'm like, yeah. I walk out. At least I had the nachos and cheese with a slushie. That's how I go into it. That's how I came out the movie. But my hype level for that, I was like, I got a little excited. I think I was going. Thought I was going to see his best friend, the one who be telling the stories. They just took all that out. And it's I know Jonathan Majors I thought was going to shine, and he did. We'll talk about that later. But hype level was at out of on a scale of 1 to 10, it reached at its peak moment. It was like at a 6.5.
There you go. That should say everything.
Slightly above average.
If you think so, okay, slightly above average is not the Marvel standard. So you can't get $1 billion by being slightly above average. You're exceptional or you're not. And this movie is not one of those $1 billion franchise movies, so it wasn't expected.
Same thing about Miss Marvel, it made $1 billion.
No. That first one, I'm sorry, the first one did what it was supposed to.
It made $1 billion.
Exactly. What they expect at all their movies. This one did it.
They should not expect that all their movies.
Probably don't. Okay, realistically, they don't. But for that one, hey.
They were not expecting $1 billion. Man, if Captain Marvel would have came out before Infinity War, nobody would have not Ned Nutter person would have got to $1 billion. All right, man.
So
you did
what?
the overall of the movie, right?
It came out when it came out. It got what it got.
That's fair. But no.
Rode the train. I can't help it if it perfectly placed it to ride the hype train, and that hype train was hyped. They got it.
But still no. Still no. All right, Dan. Here we go. Let's talk about what we. I'm starting off positive. Let's talk about what we liked.
Let's start off what we liked. All right, if we're gonna start off what we liked, the fact that Jonathan Majors' role was pretty likable. I liked his role. He didn't let me down. Except he shouldn't have got punched, or it shouldn't have been that much of a fight. If you're supposed to be, in my opinion, if you're the big bad, medium average hero like Antman is, the average level hero that Antman is, and the not highly skilled fighter that he is, should not have been able to put that any kind of hands on Kang the Conqueror, especially as much as he's as powerful as he is in the comics and the animation and everything there is, and the beat and stuff. But other than that, the positive thing I liked was the Jonathan Majors doing his role and what he brought to the table. And that's all I got for the positive. That's all I got.
I would say the same for me. I mean, they had a couple jokes that were okay. A lot of them landed real flat, though. Like the one about at the end of the movie where he was like, man, he did say something else was coming. Like, did we really win? Like, when he got himself worried, I kind of chuckled a little bit. But a lot of other jokes were just kind of flat. The one about him and Thor having similar body types. I guess from my perspective, I heard that like 4 times before. And
the trailers.
I didn't even see it in the trailer. I was listening to I was listening to a podcast, and in the podcast they had a commercial for Antman, and it said that joke, and I was like, well, you should have heard that one, but hey, it is what it is. So that's why that one is not a. So the jokes landed flat. So, but I had one or two that made me chuckle. Jonathan Majors is Kang though. He got loose. I mean, you talk about a surgical ass whipping he put on Antman. He put a surgical ass whoop. He even hit him with the little hood joint. When you know how like you do like a real fighter from the hood, like go ahead get you one. Go ahead get you one right here. Go ahead get you one. And he take the hit and kind of laughed it off, and then got the commencing that ass whip. Like, but I mean, he got. You remember that Dave Chappelle? You know the Dave Chappelle show, right? You remember this? One of the sketches was, when keeping it real goes wrong. And the dude was in the club with his girl, and the dude and it was another dude who started a fight. And he said he only starts fighting in the streets just so he could work on his kung fu. And the girl was like, and the dude was like, that was the most surgical ass whooping we've seen in a long time. That's what that reminded me of. Like it was a surgical ass whooping.
Was that the one? Didn't the girlfriend get a couple licks in too?
She's like, I saved that ass whooping. That joint was amazing. That joint was. That's what everybody like. It was a surgical ass. And then he took out like all of the. I don't know. I would call them inhabitants of the quantum realm. When they all try to meet him at the city, like the dude with the shoot the laser junk at him, he shot the laser, used his technology, turned it around, turned it a different color, shot it right back at the dude who killed him. I was like, good night. Oh, yeah, y'all gonna have a tough one. Y'all have a tough one. Like it was a point where not many people was laying a hand on him. And then comic book movies do what comic book movies do, which does what comic books does. The hero's losing. It doesn't look like it's hope in sight. Then he tries harder and wins. It's the nature of comic book and comic book movies. Yeah, hey, don't blame me. Go look at all movies, superhero movies, in that whole genre. The majority of them, like 98%, get to a point where they were like, all right, we can't win. What can we do? Try harder. And it happens to work. Batman in The Dark Knight Rises. Bane gave him an ass whooping for ages. Broke his back. He trained real hard. Came back. Fought Bane again. He didn't enhance nothing. Same bat suit and everything. What did he do? He just tried harder and happened to win. Tell us all the time. It is what it is. Only one that didn't happen into is Endgame, where they didn't even really beat him in the fight. They just kind of snapped their fingers before he could. So it is what it is. So it is what it is. So that's the positive, Jonathan Majors. Can't really think of anything else.
It wasn't.
Yeah, there's not much else. Positive anyway. Yeah, it was just Jonathan Majors. That's what I really went to go see the movie for anyway. See the next installment of the Cat. All right, so we touched on it. And it's gonna take a little minute, so we're gonna get into it right now. Give me some of the cons, man. Did not like.
Let's start. I got a list.
Go through your list, man. I sit back. Take it away. Take it away, man.
Scott's family. The whole thing started off. Scott's family was hating on that man from the jump, especially with him trying to enjoy his 15 minutes of fame. The man wrote a book. He's out here getting free coffee and everything else. They hating on it. The family was hating on the man. Okay, I was like, what is going on? Y'all let that man live and everything.
He saved the world.
The
world, Craig. Actually, no, he saved the universe. He go back.
Universe. They gonna sit there and talk about. So what have you done lately? God damn, what I got save a dang person every 5 minutes. I was like,
what else do I have to do?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be out here patrolling the streets every goddamn day, and I'm like, get out of here, man. That's street level. I'm a Avenger. Okay, get out of here. Y'all need to get off my back. And daughter out here committing little crimes and everything, using top-notch technology to shrink cars and stuff. And somebody, lock her up for real. She out here being a kid. Let me find out all of a sudden now she's a genius too. What? When did she become a genius, yo? Yeah, where did her come from? where did her becoming a genius all of a sudden? And she's up there as smart as the Pims and stuff. I was like, oh, okay, all right.
What?
Another teenage genius like who is it? Riri and Shuri and female.
Yeah, but that's been
Genius.
established through their character history, not only in comic books, but also not
Like
only
I
in the movies,
said,
but in
like I
comic
said,
books. Cassie ain't
gone,
never been that.
gone. But you know what? We can't say no because at the same time, it's been a blip. So she was a kid then, and so she didn't. I guess I don't. Well, it's a con for me. Don't make no difference to me.
And also, how does that
The
math
other
math?
thing,
Because somebody math ain't mathing right.
yeah,
How
yeah,
old was she?
I've given up on that. I knew the math wasn't going to add up. I already free. They said numbers through the whole thing. When she met up with Modoc, and Modoc was like, "Yeah, you tried to kill me at such years old." And I'm sitting there thinking, and I was like, "Yeah, the blip was only 5 years. You look older than what you're supposed to be." But you know what? Never mind. I'll let Marvel do what Marvel wants
I'm
to do.
saying math don't math, man. Casey
That's
was a
fine.
little kid, no more than 9 at the and that's the oldest I'm giving her. 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. She looks like she's in college. And I, all
That's
right,
what I
so
said.
let's say I give her 14, right? At the end of the blip, I give you 14. I'll add on 2 more years because I don't know what's going on, right? So I give you 2 more years. That's 16. That means you're in high school. She looks like she's in college.
Like I said, I'm going to let Marvel have it. Uh, the pacing was fast. That movie was on fast forward the whole time. They were in different spots every here there. The sense of time down there. There was no sense of time down there. It was just we're going to be here. We're going to go there. We're walking. Now we're
Time works
here.
differently
Now
in
we're
the
there.
quantum realm, though. Time
Huh?
does work differently in the quantum realm. You got to
Yeah, I
remember that.
guess so
That's
because it
established.
didn't. It don't. I don't know how long they were actually down there. I don't know how long they. By the time they hooked back up and they all met each other, like you don't know how much time actually passed. And the, and the other world building in the quantum world that they were supposed to be doing, that was terrible. Marvel's better than that. That was terrible. Like there was no real otherworldly building or explanation of the quantum realm. The one person who knew the quantum realm didn't want to talk to nobody about the quantum realm the whole time. Was trying not to explain anything to everybody. Like Janet Van Dyne was like the side villain of the whole thing and everything. Like she kept putting off everything. They asked her, "Whoa, tell us about the quantum realm." I don't want to talk about it. Well, what are you guys doing? We're building a map in the quantum realm. Why didn't you tell me? Because we asked you, you didn't want to talk about it. So we decided to do ourselves. And then she turns it off. Well, why y'all should have talked about it first? We've been trying to talk to you about this. What are you doing? Communicate, woman. It was terrible. And then
Get
all of a
counsel.
sudden, she know. Of course, I'm okay with her knowing everybody in the quantum realm. She was down there for like 30 years, but you did not explain anything to anybody as we're going. Is a bit annoying. Like, come on, give somebody some explanation. Stop saying just follow my lead. Like, give me a heads up. I'm out here with alien creatures, and you're just talking about some follow my lead. Put your head down. No, tell me where are we going? What do I need to expect? That joint was. I was like, oh my god, I couldn't believe this crap. And Casey Lang, I ain't got nothing problem with her. It's a kid being a kid, so not, nothing to say there. And I don't even know what. I'm not even sure what Hank Pym was really doing in there. He had the minimal role ever. Like they just gave him minimum role. It was like, you're just here for the ride, and he was. Him and Janet Van Dyne. Like I know it was called Antman and the Wasp, but the Wasp didn't have that much of a role in it
Well, you beat me like
compared to
you beat
compared to
I am.
everything
I'm
else.
gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, but yeah. As far as the cons, oh, and the special effects and the visual effects were so. Like, but I'm especially. It felt like everything around. It felt like they were filming the whole thing on green screen. Like when they got this, that thing felt like green screen. Their special effects were so everything was visual and special effects all around them because they're in the quantum realm, and everything felt like, oh yeah, you're clearly on the set. Oh, you're clearly on the green screen. Yeah, all that. Yeah. But keep going though. Keep going. Keep going. It's
All right.
better than a C-list movie though, but keep going.
Yeah. All right. So let's oh man. Let's break this down a little bit by little bit, okay? All right. Okay, cool. First con is let's go with the special effects. Because that was just on my mind. I gotta get out the way. Special effects. This is a product of Marvel trying to put out too much too fast. You need to slow down. And Kevin Feige said he's going to slow down, but this is too much too fast. I had the same problem with Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I saw a lot of green screen back there. Like the most egregious one was with when M'Baku was talking to his two friends after the princess came back from Talokan, and she was like, he's out, yeah, she's back, and glory to animal and all that stuff. And I'm looking in the background, I'm like, I can do that. That same green screen, I got one. I could put that together real quick. Saved out some real money. This is what you're gonna give me. And the same thing in Quantumania. Like Marvel's trying to put out too much, too fast. Slow it down. Another problem I had was this felt like little Star Wars. And by what I mean is, like I walked out that movie theater, I'm like, the same transitions and the same thing Star Wars does when you're in one planet and it's all desert. Then you're in another planet and it's all green. Then you're in another planet and you're at a bar. Then all of a sudden, these three or four different sets come together where there's a big fight and they're all there. This is like The Force Awakens. The same way you're transitioning from planet to planet in Star Wars, the same way you transition from one area of the quantum realm to another part of the quantum. It's like I'm watching Star Wars. I don't have a problem with Star Wars outside of this poster right here, but hopefully I can't see it. I'm not a big fan of Star Wars. My extent only goes to like the last 3 movies, but I know what I'm seeing. I know that look like Star Wars, and I'm telling you it is. And I said that when I walked out the theater, I'm like, this felt like Star Wars. I guess Kevin Feige said I can make myself a Star Wars movie. No big deal. It's easy.
We're all in the same umbrella.
And like, and every time you were at a different place, you had like a different group of like aliens. Like none of them looked alike. Like why do you look like that? That person looks like a human, and that person looks like a robot that just shoot lasers. I don't understand it. And one guy's ooze that everybody's got to drink. Okay, fine. This is Star Wars. Here we are. It's fine. This is the MCU Star Wars. I don't really have a problem with it, but if you want to do it, you better do it right. And if you fell kind of short. Another problem I had with was not necessarily the pacing, but like the story. Like nobody's reason made sense. Like for instance, like you said, Janet Van Dyne. There was no reason for you not to tell, unless you have like PTSD. But if you could tell them, hey, look, down there is a guy who is trying to come up here, and he's like the worst person. We don't send it down there, because if you do, this is going to cause an effect. Like if you would have said that from the beginning, they would have left it be, and they would have never went past the part where y'all did at the end of Endgame. I mean, at the end of Infinity War, when y'all was trying to get particles for Ghost. Like you would have struck any farther that got to a whole nother universe. So that's on you, Janet. And then secondly, Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne was just like people that just happened to be there. Like we need them there for a reason. We need to find them a reason to be down there with them, and while they're down there, we need to find them a reason to be active. Like Hank Pym don't fight no more, anything like that. They gave him a stupid story reason of why he got some super smart ants. That I saw it, I'm like, that's the best you can do. The ants got there a few seconds before you. It felt like a whole year. They were already super smart and they built some intelligence, and now they work with you. That's the best you can do. You are paid writers working for the biggest movie franchise in the history of cinema, and that's the best you can do. You suck. This was terrible, and it was just a lot of story beats that it just it's like Like you could have did better. Try harder. Like we're at a point in it in comic book movies where you just can't give out the same bland stuff. You got to make things more interesting. And I hate to bring it up, but Zack Snyder did. It gave you a reason to think about what's going on, a reason why everybody gave you a motive. This just seems like, hey, we need to find a reason to get him here. The same thing I had with Multiverse of Madness. Your story is good enough where it makes sense why, but the reason still isn't good enough. Like the words you're using make sense. The way you put them together makes sense. There's a couple of sentences, but it's not good enough. It doesn't give me a reason. It's just more like cannon fire for words. Like, yeah, the answer down here because they got super smart and they start building all this technology and they here. If that's the case, then why can't they find them? If they were all this smart and had all this, why can't they find them? Why he's not under the rule? Like, come on, man. It's absurd. Then the reason why Jane ex-boyfriend left her or betrayed him because Kang is very convincing. Like, that's the best you can do. You couldn't say he threatened your family and people you love. None of that. None of the classic stuff that works. He's very convincing. What did he say that was convincing? Let me know. Give me some information to let me know what he can do to convince you. It's absurdity here.
Yeah, that was a waste of a great actor and Bill Murray's talents right there for that small role that he did. I'm pretty sure he filmed all of that in every bit of 2 days.
I'm not giving him 2. I give him 1.
Yeah, he probably knocked it out of 1.
Knocked it out of 1. Said, thank you, everybody. I take my check and my royalties. You know the address. I kept it moving.
Yeah, he probably not got. Yeah, I was wondering why they didn't really show him and nobody could find any information about what his role was.
Because it was pointless.
That was a waste of Bill Murray. But you know what? That's fine. It's fine. There's plenty of other actors out there. So,
I think they did it for shock value. Oh snap! Bill Murray's in the movie. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that. Give me something good and then put an actor in it that's going to surprise me. You know what I'm saying? Don't give me an actor and then hope you can write words around it to make it better. That's putting a cart before the hearse, and that's never going to work. All right, Dan. Key moments. What you got for me?
The key moment was when Kang showed up, and the whole tone of the movie changed. When Antman even threw a little joke in there that you said earlier, I get confused with him, and then he realized Kang was serious and that he's going to really kill your daughter, and he's definitely 100% got control over MODOK, and he's the big bad out here. And the whole shift of the movie happened in that moment, like a whole shift of the movie. It even got the lighting even got a little bit darker as it was happening and stuff. It felt like, but that was it. That was the key moment right there. That moment right there was when everything went whoop. You're going to go steal something from me.
Yeah.
And
He told MODOK, don't talk while you're around me. I was like, geez, you're a thug. I like you. I like you, Kang. I like you a lot. My key moment was actually Kang's kind of not his origin, but like his backstory, right? So when Janet Van Dyne was telling him that, they worked together to do all of that stuff, then he realized who he was and what he was capable of. And from that moment on, he got like he was just what's the word I'm looking for? He was on a mission. He was on a mission to get out of the Crown Realm, and while I'm down here, I'm just gonna take over everything and keep it moving. And I don't have a problem with it. Actually, I really like it because of my key moment. Because my other key moment was the one you said, but since you said it, I gotta go back and find something else. Or I can go with key moments. Janet Van Dyne not saying what was down there and what would happen and who's looking for it. Like if she would have said it, this movie wouldn't exist.
That's exactly what. Oh man, that was on my list too. I forgot all about that one.
Oh, before I go, one more thing. I want to talk about a con, and I'm glad my man. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I am. Okay, you got that one there? My man right here anyway. My man brought up MODOK. MODOK was cool and turbulent at the same time. So when he had the whole thing on, I was like, okay, MODOK already looks stupid. But when at least you got that on, it looks cool. It looks a little terrifying. And then you find out who MODOK is, you were like, that's stupid. And then how he looked, that right there might have been the worst what's the word I'm looking for? Not CGI. That might have been the worst special effects I've seen in my life. His head, I get MODOK's head is big, but his face, it looked like they just put his face, blew it up on like a computer, and then like put a tape not like you blow a picture up, but it doesn't look good because it's blown up outside of his size. And then you like try to tape it up like, hey, this is our family. Like you didn't do a real good job of printing. That's exactly what they look like. They look like they blew up a picture of his face, printed it off a computer, and then took that picture and pasted it on MODOK. I was like, y'all got to stop. Don't let me see his face again because this is terrible. Put the helmet back down and keep it like this because just seeing his face, it might have been the worst. That might have been the worst special effects Marvel has ever done in their life. And I'm including all of Marvel, like every single thing that was Marvel, even the 1970s, 1980s. I'm including those. That was the worst piece of animation.
Yeah, they definitely that was the worst decision Marvel made. This felt like the from the writer of Rick and Morty. It felt like a Rick and Morty kind of escapade right there. And when you see him, you're like, yeah, I know he's an actual comic book character in Marvel. Like anybody who's read a Marvel comic books has heard of MODOK. But yeah, he even has his own animated show on, which is a complete joke. It's a joke. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it like I don't recommend this movie. This movie is definitely wait till Disney Plus. And the way our theater looked, everybody else already thought it. And I was just like, dang. Everybody, y'all ain't got no hope for this movie, how empty this theater is. But MODOK was a terrible decision. Because terrible. Just terrible. The one thing I can point out about this movie is nothing significant or of memory happens until probably the last 40 minutes. You can go the first hour. You can miss the whole first hour of the movie and be okay.
All right, so I would say this. Yeah, we're talking about stuff like that. I can wait on this part. What's the best way to say it? This movie, if you wanted to go just see this movie by itself, like you're not a fan of the MCU or anything like that, and you wanted to go just like, I need to go to the movie theaters, I would not probably I wouldn't recommend this movie. You know what I'm saying? It's not running your time like you need to go see. It's not a must see. It's on TNT. Let me turn it on and see what's happening. But if you want to know what the future is for the MCU, you might want to go see, like you said, the last 40 or 50 minutes, the last third of that, when they really show Highlight Kang. Because this movie, the entire movie exists for one purpose, to show you how bad and how much of a villain and how much of a threat Kang is. That's what the entire purpose of this movie is. It's not for anything else. It's not to evolve Antman as a character, make him go through any changes. It's not to evolve any Jane Foster or any of the Pams or Hank's daughter. It's only to show you that Kang is a villain. He is a serious threat. He's the future villain of the MCU, and he is going to be a problem. Outside of that, the rest of this movie does not need to exist at all. Sorry. But that being said, when it comes on Disney Plus, I will watch the third act. My man said, theater was empty. Yeah, it was. It was real empty.
Yeah.
I mean, we damn near had a whole row to ourselves. That was crazy. Really sad. I'm upset that I bought tickets early. Thought, it's gonna go a little fast. I could have waited till the night of. Be honest with you. I know I'm gonna do that with Shazam. I have no worries at all. But that's a whole other subject. All right, so Dan, you kind of touched on this, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. What changes would you make?
Uh, I would definitely go up to Marvel and tell them don't make this movie. That's the biggest change I'll make. We're not going to make this movie. What we're going to do is we're not. We're gonna go a different direction. No. Yes, actually that. But Modoc, take him out the movie. Uh, that was unnecessary at all. He slowed down. They had a good momentum during the final big battle scene, and then he was over there and he slowed it down with that dumb. Their humor, their timing and the humor was terrible. This whole movie, like I would like scrap the humor too. The type of humor they were going for was terrible. Like I know that's what their Antman's known for, but it was terrible. Like, are y'all watching this? Like, come on. Like, where's Luis? I miss Luis. Where was Luis at? Like, why was Michael Pena's character? Like, cause y'all ain't. This ain't it. This ain't it. Also, the how they were in the quantum realm wasn't necessary. Like their explanation for it didn't make sense. Like all of a sudden you turn the machine off and there's no power, and then all of a sudden it turns on by itself and sucks
Well, I think that
everything
was
in.
Kang. He did that.
No, that didn't make sense though. It still didn't make any sense. Like
Marvel.
if you were able to draw somebody in that simply, then why didn't you just take yourself out? Like do the opposite. Like boom, pull yourself out. Like Kang could have just pulled himself out just like that. Even though technically he was there because he wanted his energy source and everything. He wanted that to get shrunk so that he can travel and everything through time and what's it called? Multiverses and everything. I know that's what he wanted, but I'm pretty sure if you got out of there, you could have got some more technology and then went back in there.
Well, they set him up so he couldn't leave the quantum realm. They did explain that. He couldn't leave the quantum realm because they sabotaged his machine. He fixed the machine. He was ready to leave, and then Jane blew up the multiversal engine.
Yeah,
so he couldn't use it.
Yeah,
but he could not escape. Just like Van, it's probably, and I'm just being defense right here. It's easier to get into the quantum realm than it is to get out of the quantum realm. You know what I'm saying?
No. Because they made the device in the second Ant-Man that got them in and out of quantum realm. Matter of fact, they even made the ship, remember?
Yeah.
And what's the name?
Well, no, they didn't go to the quantum realm. All right, so I think there's layers to the quantum realm. So like you can shrink to size. And I think once you get past a certain point, you can't get out. Like, for instance, Ant-Man at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, he jumped into the quantum realm tunnel, right? But he didn't go all the way. He didn't go all the way in. He was stopped at a point, collected his stuff, and pulled out. And when they in game, they just used the quantum realm to travel through time. They did not go all they didn't. There's like levels. Like it's here to the bottom. To the bottom is where the actual where the quantum realm is with different people who evolve different ways. Everything else, stop. They know once you get to right here, you just can't get out. You're gonna have to. You have to find a way. You got to find a way.
Which is what they did when the signal was sent. So that was the way out.
That was a way to get it, but he doesn't know how to get out. Plus, he can't leave the quantum realm. Well, if he got out, his purpose was to get his machine working so he could go back to doing what he was doing.
So as smart as you are, leave there, go find another Kang or whatever. I'm pretty sure they'll detect you once you got out the quantum realm.
Kang didn't want him. Remember, the Kangs, all the Kangs banished him. In credits,
that's what I'm saying.
He was the banished.
No, and they knew that he died. Remember, they knew he died when he was down there. So I'm saying, if Kang had got out of the quantum realm, they would have instantly detected him that he left the quantum realm. He could have killed one of them, took their technology, went back in the quantum realm, grabbed his thing, or at least killed Ant-Man or somebody to shrink the thing back down. Like, come on, man. Like,
I don't think he. I just don't believe it's easy to get out the quantum realm.
That's
So
fine.
we agree to disagree. Even though I'm
Well,
pretty sure I'm right.
yeah, no.
All right, so changes I would make. First thing I would do is I would get rid of MODOK, especially when he took his helmet off. That was terrible. Secondly, the Ant-Man franchise was always a movie about robbery. Like they were trying to rob. It's a
Heist,
robbery movie. Those movies that you watch
heist
like
movies.
yeah, heist movie. That's what I'm looking for. It's a heist movie. That's what his first two movies are heist. They were trying to heist the office building. That was the MacGuffin, so they can get a James Foster, Hank Pym's wife out the quantum realm. They were trying to the first movie was pretty much a heist movie. They even said it. Like, this is at the end of it, like, yeah, this was never about stopping you. This was just a heist. They were trying to steal the Pym particles so he wouldn't use it to sell them off. It's nothing but a heist movie. You took that entire formula and threw it away to do something completely different than what Ant-Man was doing and tried to double down on these terrible jokes. You got to get back to making the Ant-Man franchise about a heist because that's what he does in this universe. Then you got to bring back his crew, T.I., and two other dudes. You got to bring them back because those were like that was like the funny when they were talking and making jokes. All of those hit. Then you needed your boy. What is that? What is his boy's name?
Luis.
Thank you. You needed Luis. You need one of those stories where Luis is talking about how set all this set up and stuff like that. And actually you could have had Luis do the beginning and the middle of it, the beginning and the end of the movie. When Ant-Man's like telling you what's going on and stuff like that. You could have had Luis telling about how he knows Ant-Man and this is what he's been doing afterwards. You could have had them both ways. That would have been fire. I was waiting for that.
I was waiting for that too. I was actually waiting for that in the beginning. I thought he was going to definitely pop up in the beginning, especially with all this fame. And then they'll be like, yeah, we're going to ride your fame and we're going to be the number one bank, counter bank thefts or whatever their job was in the second one.
They had a security company, remember?
Yeah, security company. We're going to be the biggest security company. We're going to be the friend of the Avenger of the security company. Yeah, we know Avengers. Here we go. We can help you. Like, I'm even thinking of it right now. I'm like, yo, they could have did so much with that. But no, they didn't want to do it.
Yeah, so those definitely I would make it a heist movie again. I would bring his crew back because the crew needs to be there immediately. The crew needs to be there. And after the crew is there, I'm gonna have Louise do like two of them, beginning and the middle. Like, yeah. The beginning one is the beginning monologue, so he could catch you up what Ant-Man's been doing since the blimp. The end of monologues kind of like summarize the movie, what he thinks going forward and stuff like that. Boom. That's the first two. That's the first thing I'm doing. Then of course MODOK has to go. He looks stupid. It's even worse when he didn't look stupid with the helmet on, but when he took it off, you saw how it was, you saw what it looked like. Got to go. I could put anybody right there. Could have just made an army of robots that would have took care of the same thing. They would have took care of the same thing. Kind of fire to take them out. Got to go. More Kang, because it was moving desperately. And I would make it less Star Wars, way less Star Wars, because you tried it, you didn't pull it off, got to move it. Those are the big changes I would make, and a whole new screen, and make people's reasoning for doing something worthwhile. Don't make me be sitting in a movie theater and the ants got smarter for no reason, just because they've been down there longer. That's not good enough.
They could have made that a heist movie in a way that, since Hope's been down there before, that they would have had her recruiting everybody, going to different spots in the quantum realm and recruiting people for a big heist. And then as they're going along, they meet the ants, and then next thing you know, a big heist in the end. And some people don't make it. That would have been perfectly fine. Like if they started off with that, where they was like, all right, so we need to get back. The one person that has everything is Kang. Kang has everything we need. We got to steal it from him. Then we can get out of here.
Right. You could have been stuck down there and tried to steal it from Kang.
Yeah. That would have been perfect.
We're great. We're great. You could have had the whole crew down there too. We did it. We fixed the movie. Oh, and make a bigger part for at least the Wasp.
The
Wasp. You
Wasp.
call it Ant-Man and the Wasp, and she's really have no reason to be there.
She is as smart as Casey Lane. They could have been creating machines and coming up with stuff as they went along and everything. Oh yeah, you smart enough to build a machine to go down to the quantum realm to map stuff out, and you have your own super suit and everything. Yeah, you should have been doing more, way more, way more.
So
instead of
yeah,
y'all getting captured.
all right. You want to talk about the end credits? We're kind of running out of time a little bit. Damn.
Yeah, end credits were okay. They were okay. It was solid. It was worth. It was actually worth. They finally had end credits for worth waiting for after so many disappointments. It's getting you ready for a lot of Kang. Like they're going to overuse him. I see now they're going to overuse Kang.
Yeah, everything leads to Kang, which again was the only purpose of this movie, to let you know Kang was the big bad, let you know he's a problem, and let you know they're gonna have an issue dealing with him. That's what the movie was actually for.
Was it? They are going to overuse the hell out of him. This is
the question is, do you trust them to don't use him? Do you trust them not to overuse him?
No, I don't. They're going to overuse him. They're going to go all the way overboard. The only problem I really have is like, can you knock this? Can you do this in one movie? Like, I hope they got to spread them out. They got the Kang Dynasty ain't something you could do in one movie.
Well, I think the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars is the same story, just the same way Infinity War and Endgame were. It's the same story, just in two different movies.
Okay, we'll see.
I'm pretty sure we are. All right, so we know what Secret Wars is. Not the first one. The second one was actually about the multiverse, right? And I was collapsing and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what Secret Wars is. This is that. Kang Dynasty is going to lead to Secret Wars. Remember the Kangs were in a multiversal war before the He Who Remains, Immortus, ended it. He used that cloud monster thing. It ended the war, right? So the Kangs will be in another multiversal war. The Avengers will get caught up in it, and then here we go, Secret Wars. So it's all coming together.
All right,
you know, done right.
I'm all for it.
I am losing trust. Every time a new project comes out, it seems a little bit of trust from the MCU gets chipped away, just a little bit. Chip. You got to turn it around quick. They had this problem at the end of after the first Avengers movie. Remember, the first Avengers movie, you were like Antman 3. I mean Iron Man 3. I don't know. What was the other Thor? Dark World. I don't know. Then Winter Soldier came, like, oh, I see it. Then Guardians came, like, all right, we're back on track now. Here we go. Then they just bang. So hopefully we're going through the same thing right now. Hopefully.
So because not too many people like Black Panther. Not too many people definitely aren't going like Ant-Man. So bad, good. We're the opposite of X-Men. We're bad, good.
A lot of people didn't like Thor: Love and Thunder.
Nobody liked Thor: Love and Thunder. So
we're not even talking about the Disney Plus stuff.
So it's only up from here.
Yeah, I guess.
That's what it looks like. All right, I'm all for it. Then it was only
up
for here.
Here we go, Dan. Last thing, ranking the movie on the scale. So, you know what? Let's make it interesting on the scale of
4.
Let me finish. On a scale of 1 to 5.
1.5.
Oh, it's a 1.5 out of 5. Good night. Oh gosh.
There's no recommendation to go see this movie. If it just so happens to come on, skip till you get to skip until you see Kang.
Well, you see Kang in the first scene, so.
Then skip again until you see Kang.
It's the second act.
There you go. That's my recommendation.
All right. Out of scale of 1 to 5, because that's what we're doing now. We're actually working on something else.
Because you wanted to make it that.
Whoever runs the show runs the show. And I'm running the show. And right now, it's a 2 out of 5. It's a 2 out of 5
Ooh, 0.5 higher than me.
You know what? I made a decision. I'm not doing any more points. I'm not doing 2.5 point, 1.5. I'm just doing it's either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's a 2. Solid 2. It's not terrible. It's not worth mentioning. You walk out the movie theater, you be like, "Was it good?" And you be like, "Eh."
You want my honest opinion, or you want to lie?
No, people even ask me. I'm like, you see, they're like, "Hey, what you think about the movie?" And I'm like, "Eh." They're like, "Yeah, that's about me." I had a friend whose name is Donnie. I'm not gonna give out his full government name because I'm not gonna do that. But my friend Donnie, we see all the time at cons and stuff like that. He said it's like a Big Mac meal. You eat the meal, like it filled me up, but I know it's much better out there, like Five Guys stuff like that. So that's what it is. Like, yeah, I'm hungry. It's lunch break. All right, I guess I get a Big Mac or something. But when I get home, I'm about to go ham in the kitchen, saute the onions and stuff like that. And that's what this movie is. It got me over. Yeah, I watched it. I didn't walk out the theater like, man, what the hell is this? This is terrible. Like, okay, I watched it. Gave me something to do for a few hours. I had a good nachos and cheese. Cheese was still warm. Chips wasn't stale. Slushy was on point. Mixed it just right. We're having a decent time.
I agree with that analogy, except for the fact that it wasn't a Big Mac. It was more like nachos and cheese. It was more of a snack.
We're not downplaying nachos and cheese right now, okay?
No, I'm not. I'm down.
Nacho cheese is
you are downplaying. You are not downplaying this movie enough.
Because I've seen much worse. Much worse is like, geez,
okay, it still is one of the worst.
Fantastic Four movies.
That's fine. This still doesn't take away the fact that this is on the bottom. This is the bottom end.
I would say this. I would rather watch this than the last Antman and Wasp.
That's a good. I don't know how much I can disagree with that one.
Yeah.
I've only seen Antman and Wasp once, so I can't remember. But
it's on Disney Plus. You be like, yeah, and I know because
zero
right
interest.
before a movie comes out, I start watching other movies that were too. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I'd much rather watch Antman Quantumania than I would Antman and the Wasp.
You're the person who doesn't play skip on the recap when the series starts back over and everything. Let's recap last season. No, that's you.
Yeah, if it's it's like a year gone by. Yeah, but watch the recap right quick.
They're all 1 year gone by.
Oh. No. Now, if I'm binging, like for instance, if I'm late to a show, right, like I was with Game of Thrones, and I'm binging all of it, I don't need to watch the recap. Just binging all of it. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah. If I'm watching a show from week to week, I don't watch the recap. Like for instance, The Last of Us. I don't watch the recap of The Last of Us when I watch it on HBO Max.
I only meant 1 year separation per season. If it's a 1 year separation,
yeah, I'm watching the recap.
Watch the recap.
Absolutely, no problem.
Not no dang on Last of Us one the recapping the dang on thing that happened 5 days ago or whatever, the last episode. Trust me, ain't nobody forget what happened in the last episode when it comes to.
But I'm saying there are people that watch that whole recap too. I'm not one of them.
Those are the dieharders. They can't help themselves.
Only time I do that is when I'm trying not to watch the clock. So I try to turn on something. So my focus is not to look at the time because that makes it go by slower. It's like I know this is an hour. I'm using every bit of this hour to watch this one thing, even though I've already watched it. That's the only time I watch a recap.
Cool.
Outside of that, no. All right, Dan. I would like to say this in my conclusion. I'm just making this stuff as I go. Conclusion. Because Antman and the Wasp franchise has 3 movies that are all lower tier than the MCU, I am no longer accepting Antman as a nickname for myself. That's why, as you guys can see right here, right here in this general area right here, my name is no longer Antman. As of right now, it's Gail's favorite son, until I can come up with something more appropriate for my status. Also, do you know what tomorrow is, Dan?
It's the man. Oh.
It's my dad's birthday tomorrow, everybody, which in turn means it's also my birthday because we have the same birthday. That's right. Your boy's birthday's tomorrow, baby. Let's go.
Everybody wish him a happy birthday.
Oh
in the
my
comment
gosh, it's my
section. Let's
birthday
go.
tomorrow.
It is going to be on and popping. Don't
Oh
know
my
what's going to
gosh.
happen.
Are you guys ready? I
It
will be
doesn't
in
matter because
full
it's going to happen.
nigga mode tomorrow at work. No headphones on. I'm playing all my favorite songs as I'm doing my job all day. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a fantastic moment. My man Steve, thank you, man. It's going to be a great day. I'll even tell you how old I am. I'll be 37. 37. 2 kids. And you know what? Hold on 1 second. I just got a birthday text. Somebody's watching this. I don't know why I didn't put it in the thing, but hey, it's all good. From starting tomorrow until my last day, I will be known as Anthony Perry, first of my name, the first son. I messed that up already.
Yeah, you gotta write it down. Yo,
I've been practicing it for months, and I messed it up.
Practice it, yo. You can't. You keep saying it, but you keep forget. Write it down.
I keep changing stuff.
Write it down. What?
Have another kid. Have another birthday.
All
right, I got it.
Write
hold
it down.
Hold on.
You gotta write it down.
Oh, it's too late. We're about to leave. I gotta get it out the way. All right.
Yeah.
From tomorrow until my last day, I will be known as Anthony Perry, first of my name, the firstborn, the last cook, the alpha, the omega, the protector of the PJ children, creator of Real Comic Book Talk, and ruler of the Perry Kingdom. And if that's too much to say, just simply say, Your Grace. And it'll be just fine. That includes my mom too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right then. All right. So Antman gets a 1. Antman and the Wasp Quantumania gets a 1.5 out of me.
It's my birthday. It's a 2 for me. It's also making me change my name. I have an Antman tattoo because that's what my grandma used to call me right here. I'm about to start workshopping artwork to get that covered up. I just can't do it. I don't know what it'll be. I already have a whole Ninja Turtle sleeve right here, so I don't know.
So the movie.
But I'm covering this up though.
The movie is out now, but as always, I recommend y'all strongly support the comic book industry. If not watching this movie, then definitely by going to your local comic book store and buying comics.
Well, actually, you know what today is?
And Wednesday,
which means new comic book day, baby. You know what? I'm not going to work tomorrow. I'm going to buy some comic books. My tax is about to hit. Forget them bills. Let's throw it up. You know what? I'm going to go find.
Do that.
I'm going to go find the first Superman movie. Action Comics #1, not a reprint, first issue. And I'm going to try to steal it.
Okay, rich man. All right.
Nah, I'm lying.
Everybody get their taxes back and they feel like a millionaire. I got money to blow.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. My first thought was to go buy a PlayStation 5. First thought. Like, I'm getting what? I'm buying a PlayStation 5. I worry about that credit card and the debts, and I'll worry about that later. They got 30 days before they evict us out the house. We're good. Buy me a PlayStation 5.
And the man is all about making wrong decisions on the birthday. I like it. Make the wrong decisions on the birthday. It's the best time to do it. But yeah, guys, we are done for today. That's our review for Antman and the Wasp Quantumania. You guys go out there, by all means, support the comic book industry at all costs, and make sure that we can keep this going and everything for another 10 more years at minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum. 10 more years minimum. DC, hopefully DC can get their act together so they can.
They will be. They will be. Don't even worry about that. That thing about to hit on something special. Look, everybody, thank you for all your love and support. Don't forget about my birthday. You can let me know it's my birthday. Simply go to Real Comic Book Talk on Instagram. So hopefully at some point there'll be a post because it's my birthday. Everybody, thank you, Detroit. We love you. Peace out. I'ma rap out before I tap out. I'ma hit the crap out and let him shoot out. Bow, bow.